I'm Eric. You're watching Notes Nerds, and these are the gentlemen behind Fountain City Minicon. Alright guys, so please, from left to right, please introduce yourselves.
Well, if we're starting at my left, I'm Judd.
I'm Tom.
I'm Barry.
So here we are at the Foundry in Kansas City, Lenexa to be more specific.
Yes.
And Fountain City Minicon is basically all three of you guys' brainchild, is that correct?
That's correct. Going back a little bit, Barry and I met and worked together and became friends on Kansas City Comic Con 2017. We'll skip all that part. After that show was done and the dust settled, Kansas City Comic Con is in a
State of limbo,
a hiatus, and probably a semi-permanent hiatus. Barry and I still traveled around to cons, met up with Tom, became friends with Tom, got familiar with him, seeing him at various shows. He bends a lot, middle school geek.
So this is actually my third weekend doing a con. So
Right in a row. He's a busy guy. He came to us probably, 7-8 months ago?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, I think that there's a smaller show and we kind of got together about that. And I think a lot of people have talked about doing a show. There's always talk.
Well, I remember talking to Barry about a year ago. You kind of whispering out there that you were like, got something planned, but shh, I can't say anything.
A lot of people actually, honestly, between Judd and I talking to us, knowing that we had been involved with Kansas City Comic Con, came to us and said, you guys ought to do a show. And that was that little kernel, that little seed that started growing a little bit. And I didn't really get much of the germination of that going until Tom said, we need a show.
Yeah.
Why don't we do one? And I said, well, why don't we? And I called Judd and said, Tom says, let's do it. And he said, I'm cool, and let's go. So that's it.
You guys have like the perfect price point for vendors, and the fact that it allows you to, and you have the perfect location, honestly, that really allows you to do a free to the public kind of showing. You have no celebrity guests, which I know some people are like, oh, well, that's stupid. But you know what? Who cares? Because the celebrity guests aren't what makes a Comic-Con. Because we got Free State over in Lawrence that just thrives every year. And so, I mean, it's...
Craig's actually here.
Yeah.
He's vending at our show.
I thought I saw him. I just need to bump into him later. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those kind of things that shows that you don't need these pop culture icons to really promote and have a successful show. And I'm really hoping that's where you guys are leading to.
The kind of MO that we all talked about when this wheel started to roll was we want to do a show that basically highlights what made us fall in love with the pop culture shows to begin with. Books, toys, the cartoons, those collectibles, those like sets of buttons or those sets of stickers like you had at your table.
Which I sold out in one fell swoop.
There you go. Those trinkets, those figures, those books, that's why Netflix has what they have. That's why there's a Disney Plus now. This is it. And so we felt like it was very important at this time, at this juncture, in Kansas City and the surrounding metropolitan area, to have a show that highlighted this. We wanted to keep the price points fair. We want to get families in here because kids, they love this stuff, and there's a whole new generation that we can open up to this and keep it thriving. So, let's let a dad bring his 3 kids and still have money to go in and buy these books,
Instead of wasting all the money, not wasting,
but
not blowing all their money on one autograph with a celebrity, because now that $300 you spend on that VIP ticket now can be used towards $300 worth of classic Transformers and comic books, key issues like you were describing, and stuff like that.
We were really cognizant of finding a venue that had free parking, that
Plenty of free parking at that.
we're trying to, that was easily accessible. We even have a park that's connected to us back
Yeah.
here, so if anybody has a rowdy kid that wants to,
Run it off!
Yeah, and then come back in. There weren't.
And then the added perks. I'm sorry,
you're
but
fine.
the added perks of the coffee shop.
Oh, gosh,
we got
yes.
the food truck outside. Like it's all encompassing. They don't have to leave if they don't want to. The only thing. I was going to say the only thing I can think of is missing, and then I'm stopping myself. We've got a pretty good first start here to show.
You built the foundation, and now it's just literally going up from that point.
Thank you for saying that. I think all three of us are really happy with what we've seen today so far.
When we were talking about it, it was a thought that while there are other shows, bigger shows, some other things that we all typically go to around the area, whether it be Wichita, we're just talking the region.
Yeah.
That sometimes it seems like certain aspects of the show overshadow the vendors and the comic book vendors, and that's what we want to get back
Like
to.
I
with
said
some of
earlier,
this.
the celebrity guests come in
Yeah,
and you see lines forever on those guests. Granted, they can help bring in a lot of great crowds, but at the same time, you hear a lot of vendors complain that I spend so much money on a booth and they leave broke. They leave in the black or red, because nobody came there because, like I said, they spent the VIP money. And
Right. And by all means, to backtrack a little bit, those shows are fun.
Yeah,
Those
they're
shows are
great. I love those shows too.
Right.
So,
And we take part in those shows as well because there's things that they excel in, that they're great at, and are able to pull off.
They all do it so well
yeah.
that we didn't feel like
Right.
we needed to go in there and try to imitate them. We needed
And
to be
that's
our
the
own
great thing.
show. And Tom actually helped form the basis of that
He
concept.
did. He
so-
was very instrumental.
And I think, there's two things you said that are important. We've talked about going together as a group, as fans, to go up to Chicago to go to C2E2. I go every year. It's a great con because they're such a big con that they can pull in artists that wouldn't be able to come here.
Yeah.
Not only to a small con like ours, but also to maybe a bigger regional con. And so we go there as fans because it allows us to get access to those.
Oh, yes.
At the same time, I realize that's not that's not our goal. At the same time, my daytime job is a teacher, and when we have admissions fees, maybe it's $5 or $10. You have a family of 3 kids and mom. Some of my families that I teach, kids that come from those, they can't afford that.
This is a guilt-free experience.
And that's the thing is you could come in here and it's like if you're a family with only $10 or $20, there are plenty of $2 toys in there. There are plenty of dollar comics.
Yep.
And the other thing too is I know a lot of these gentlemen. I know who a lot of these vendors are because I've done with them throughout the years. I go to other regional cons. These are people who aren't traveling from New York or LA. This isn't their full-time job. They're a part-time gig for them. And so they're using this to raise money to be able to help their kid pay to go to a basketball camp or to be able to save for a family vacation. And so all that money, even though you're giving it to somebody, it's going back to help somebody in their family what they want.
It's essentially shopping local.
And, and another thing too, not just for the families are coming in being able to, guilt-free experience to a Comic-Con, it's also great for people like myself. My daughter is here as a vendor artist. The price for the booths, I'm not going to say anything because I don't know how much you want, let that be public right yet. Some places are really tight-lipped about it. I understand why, because
We'll just say it's affordable.
it's like stupid affordable. Not saying that you get your stupid, not at all. It's just that's how.
So what you're
affordable
saying
it
is we should charge more.
in a few years.
Market.
Put a pin in that. We'll come back to that later.
That's
But
our
no,
new
right
tagline,
now,
stupid affordable.
it's great because my daughter is the first time actually vended as an artist. And that means that, okay, we're not going to make our money back because she's too new. But at the same time, this is an experience for her to grow as an artist, to be accustomed to the whole, oh, I love your art, and then people walk away.
Yeah.
That happens.
That's a good thing too, and I hadn't even really thought about that until today, because we have in addition to your daughter, we also have another artist in our artist alley. Is it Peggy, his cousin, who her father vends comic books, and we said, should they ask if she could come and display her art and whatnot, sell her art? And we said sure, and it got me to thinking that draws in a whole nother generation of people, because some of those guys have followers of their own. You know, they get on social media or they go to school, and their fellow students and friends know that they're doing this. Then they go, hey, Mom, Dad, can we go to this thing? Well, I don't know. It's kind of, no, it's not. It's stupid affordable. It's free. You know?
You guys could use that tagline if you like. I don't mind.
Thank you.
You heard that one too.
You know, and we've been talking, we're hoping to do this show twice a year, and keep that pace going, a spring, early summer show, a fall show. The original plan was, since we named it Fountain City MiniCon, was to encompass all of Kansas City and the surrounding metro area. Kansas City is the city of fountains.
Don't want to be stuck with some name that's stuck with like Kansas City, like
Right.
another con that says Kansas City in this name, but it's now in a different city.
Right, and there was that whole stigma
Yeah.
that we just kind of wanted to stay away from. And, you know, the owner of KCCC is a friend of mine. I went and got, you know, his best wishes for this, but just a separation. Just this is Barry, Tom, and mine. And let the bygones be bygones, past be past, whatever. This is a new, fresh show, a new, fresh start.
are
If we
fitting in a
grow,
specific niche.
if we do down the road bring in a couple cool, creative guests, they're going to be creatives. They're going to be tied in with the theme of what we're doing. That's down the road. If we charge admission to cover the guests that come, it will still be fair. We want the family atmosphere. We want the mom and dad to still feel comfortable bringing their kids. Kids 13 under might be free. That's down the road, but that's the plan. We're thinking about these things.
You got to start
The free
somewhere.
parking will always be at the top of our list.
That's the hard one for you guys, though. Is this is Kansas City. Free parking is a commodity that just is. It's like a unicorn.
Well, it depends on where you look.
Yeah.
And with the model that we're building, it will probably be more like venues like this to where the parking is there.
And actually, that was the hardest part is, you know, getting the vendors and setting everything up. That was easy. It was finding the location, because I can tell you, both Barry and myself, we spent 4 months emailing,
I can believe
looking, and we had to start thinking outside the box. And we went to another place we looked, and we came here, and we thought, you know what, this could work. And it met our goals to keep it cost low and to get families in. So.
And I know he was thinking about it, like the day we came and looked at it. And I walked in, the first thing I said was, there's a coffee shop, there's free parking. We don't need to look any further.
It's almost like you saw a sign from above.
It was an animal, yes, it was an animal.
At me.
So the great thing is too, I'm from Fall City, Nebraska. It's way up there north, and getting here was stupid easy.
Everything is stupid.
Because it's that level. You do not have to be smart to get here. You don't have to be smart to afford anything here. It's just, you could be stupid like me and go from there. I live in Fall City. I go to Hiawatha, Kansas, all the way to Atchison, follow that down to Leavenworth through Lansing, Bonner Springs. We're going right down that, hit 83 right here, and I turn over here on this road. That is literally, without any exaggeration, the route I took to get here. So that's how easy it is to get here. So even people like myself who are like, go to Kansas City, spend one day, even if I wasn't going to have a booth, I was going to be here. To get here was really easy, affordable, and I didn't have to touch downtown.
You know, that's, I don't know if you were really thinking about that. I mean, I'm sure you were, because I know we were both cognizant of it, is accessibility as well. We're close to 435, we're right off 87, so if you were coming from like I-35, we're not far from anything. And that's what we want to do, and that's what we're going to aim for no matter whether we stay at this venue or go to any other venues around town, does it bypass downtown and get to the free parking area? Is it easy to get to? Is it something that we can rent out and maintain our stupid affordability type thing? Yeah, we want to maintain the fact that it's family friendly. People can come. They can save their money on all sorts of the other things and get what they want.
Oh yeah.
In the vendor room.
And the great thing too is with a lot of conventions that are just starting off, first, if they're not looking at Bartle Hall because it's not affordable on a first time basis, really, unless you have a really strong game plan, you look at KCI, the KCI Expo Center.
Expo
But the
Center.
problem with that facility is, yeah, sure, it's got free parking, but you are literally competing with how many travelers flying in, staying the night, flying out the next day, or whatever. When I went to SawesomeCon last year, I think it was, no, year before, yeah, it was last year. It was hard to find a parking spot not because of, it's free parking, but a lot of travelers on the weekends. So you don't have that here. And I'm guessing that's one of the big things you guys are going to probably keep looking at. Brandon, I would love to see you guys at KCI next year because of the room, but
We'll see how the trek goes as we wanted to get this show under our belt first
Yeah.
and then regroup and see what we need to do. If we keep with the game plan that was originally thought of in encompassing all of Kansas City and hitting both sides of the state line, but finding rooms like this that accommodate all of our wishes that we've talked about, we'll see how it goes.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm completely fine with the Foundry. This has been a great first show.
it was
So-
perfect. It really is a wonderfully, almost perfect. I mean, the only thing I would say is the only mild issue is I can't explore it because I'm in a boot right now, having to be careful with how I get around.
You remind me of the Office episode where Michael burns his foot on the George Foreman grill. I'm disabled!
I've never watched The Office, sorry, but anybody who's had stress fractures know it is tough to get around, but
Oh, yeah.
especially with stairs. I don't know about any conference rooms here. That's the only thing I look at, that if anybody wanted to do some, if you wanted to encompass panels of some sort.
Honestly, we're not even really interested in panels right now.
I don't blame
We
you.
do, however, have something else, another idea. His brainchild. He wants something that's totally his.
Oh, this is great.
That we might be doing in the near future that would address exactly what you're talking about, but not necessarily on the day of the show.
So we've talked about this, and I think this is something we have this moment where, I live in Lawrence, so I live, a little ways away, about 30 minutes away, but there's people out here that are friends that I never see, comic book buddies we see online.
Yeah.
One of the things that we thought of doing, and maybe this is something in January, February, who knows, but maybe do a Fountain City get-together or comic get-together. So what we do is we find maybe a restaurant with a back meeting room or whatever, and we have people get together. We maybe have one side of the room and we do a theme. I was thinking like your weirdest comic you own, and we kind of come and do a show and tell, and we get together, and so that way it's just not about meeting here and looking for stuff, but rather it's building that sense of community. So that way when it's like, hey, look what I picked up that I got, or I found this at something else, you're working more about what that is, because I think that should be what the Comic Con is, or what our event should be, is hopefully it's like not the nucleus, but part of that nucleus of
You're
making
building a
larger
foundation, a family,
Yeah.
like you said earlier. And that's a great idea because panels are very one-sided usually. Especially, I got one coming up with Planet that I plan on having at Planet, where it's a workshop style, which obviously is going to be very one-sided because I want to get up there, I want to discuss how to do something. I will have room for questions, but I'm not building a community around it. That's not saying I wouldn't like to, but it's just not structurally feasible because of the way it's designed. And if you look at any panel at any con, and not just Planet, just any con, they're not community builders. Some people might fool themselves into thinking that it does build a community, but you might be up there doing a cosplay thing, but it's still a one-sided discussion.
I will never. Cut that, sorry.
You get the point, but you see what I'm saying is that it's not really a community building. What you're discussing is kind of, I don't want to use revolutionary because that sounds a little too strong, but it's definitely a huge push for something that is not pushed in this kind of world.
Well, and I think the thing is, I'm from California, the LA area, and the university I used to go to, the chancellor, whenever he would get a speech, he would always say, this is your university. Thank you for coming to your university. And I hope in some ways that Fountain City doesn't become Tom Berry and Judd's. I hope this becomes Fountain City's con.
And that's what you're trying to do right there, and that's brilliant. I love it, and it's one of those things where I hate being so far away. You're talking about being 30 minutes away. I'm 2 hours.
No, but
So-
that's the thing.
And you can put that on-
Community doesn't have a geographic
There are
delineation
tools to put it on
for
the
us. We are all part of. I mean, if somebody got wind of the fact that we had our show this weekend and they were visiting family and they were from California or Connecticut or wherever, they could come here and still feel like they're part of the community. And that's, I mean, that's a buzzword that just keeps coming back to the three of us. We want to do that.
There's tools for online communication. Like I don't get any money for this, folks. Zoom is a wonderful tool. It kind of took over for Google Hangouts, if you will. Remember back in the day for that was a brilliant idea for a tool that gave you the option to do what you're talking, but with people that aren't local. If you guys implemented that, you talk about building a community that's just not Kansas City, but people like myself who want to come to Kansas City more often because there's always something to do, who live in BFE, we're not going to say what that stands for, but we live clear up there. Well, I have special tones for using those words. But it's a wonderful idea because, like me, I want to be a part of those communities, but I can't just drive 2 hours willy-nilly to every single one of these kind of things.
Sure.
It's tough, and it's just a wonderful idea that what you're wanting to do, because this is something that can grow and expand and just be so much more than what it is without, like you said, stepping on anybody's toes, without treading into anybody's territory.
It's not about that with us. We're just there is room in Kansas City for a second show.
What it sounds like is you're nerds who just want to have fun.
Yeah,
Actually, it was all about Judd and his desire to buy multiple, comic books and things like that.
Make the shopping come to me.
Yeah, that was well, and honestly, we all at our base level. I mean, his business is called Middle School Geek, and we're comic book geeks. And I think that's what really that origin point that we're coming from is that we did what we wanted to see in a show. What would be the best thing that we would want from a show to see? How many comic book vendors, how many toy vendors, that kind of thing. And we were real careful about providing a balance like that and making sure that we kind of appealed to a wide variety of showgoers.
A lot of our vendors, from what Tom was telling us earlier, this is their first show ever vending.
We have, some people I've known who've collected in there, or I've seen at shows who've bought stuff from me, or, they decide to, why not? Let's try this and see how it goes. And, I have a friend, I won't say who it is, but he's like, I'm really scared. I don't know if he's going to go. But he's had a great experience. And, I want to kind of go back to what Barry was saying. I was thinking about this. I have a weekly board game group. And, our weekly board game group, we have board games. We keep it at a friend's house. And, we might say, like, hey, we want to play a board game. And so somebody might go out and actually buy that board game so that the group can benefit from it. And I'm not saying that that's what we're doing, is we're buying the board game so the group can benefit from it. But I think there's been so much talk in the Kansas City area of having an event like this that I know for me, in talking to them, I just got tired of that talk. And it's like, let's just do this. And, in some ways, everybody benefits from it.
I think I sat around at a family dinner a while back before we actually really got the ball rolling with this. And I know my dad finally just, in no uncertain terms, very colorfully basically said, do it or don't. Said, fish or cut bait. And if you guys think that it's viable and it's something that the community wants, give it to them.
It helps that we all three have a knowledge of the craft per se. we're all collectors, and
Well, you two,
he's a vendor. We had the
Yeah.
business side from KCCC and worked together that full year. We worked really well together as a triad. So that
But I work really well with Judd.
yeah,
Nobody works
that's kind
well
of
with Barry.
what I was trying to say.
Barry's he's like sandpaper, high grit, you know?
Well, no,
More
what
like
they're trying to
Gaucho
say is they
Marble.
work. They work well together. No, I'm just kidding.
But here's the great thing with you two, you guys also have a great connection and repertoire, or rapport, with a lot of comic shops and toy shops. Not like, Toys R Us kind of level, but the mom and pop
Sure.
secondhand toys shops. Thanks to your YouTube show that you're
I think
Facebook
you're
show.
referring to our old road trip.
the
Which
road
I
show,
really
yeah.
wish I could help you guys bring that back.
Well, and I understand the distance thing. Barry and I have actually talked about it. And now that we've got the show under our belt, we know that this can be a viable thing. We might start that back up. We've been talking about a podcast off and on.
We started those Facebook Lives again specifically for the show, for things, and it kind of felt like we were just right back, on the bike.
And now we've got the added guy here, so it's pretty cool.
The added guy. Wow.
No,
Tom is the added value.
he's a-
Actually, honestly,
Chief-
without Tom, I don't think we probably would have gotten this going. I could
he
safely
was the
say
spark
he's
that
the
ignited
spark.
it. Barry and I were like, yeah, it'd be cool, him haw. Yeah, it'd be cool, him haw, depressed, thinking about the other show. Yeah, it'd be cool, let's do a show. Okay.
He brought in the enthusiasm. You
Well,
guys
and-
kind of-
Well, we all had enthusiasm.
Well, I'm not saying you-
I think we were all enthusiastic. I think,
He was just
I just started doing it, and I'm like, I'm doing this, you come or not, and I'm like, okay.
Well, we've all got
And they're addicted.
we've all got our strengths. I mean, Judd is a fantastic creative, and he brought in
Could you do some free artwork for me?
Yeah. I need exposure.
half down.
I got great exposure buttons.
I mean,
Bigly
we had
huge.
one of the biggest compliments he could probably have ever gotten as far as our show goes. I was at another show recently, and an industry professional came up to me and he said, I knew nothing about this show. I knew nothing about anything other than the fact that you had this Facebook page, somebody told me about it, and I looked at your guys' logo and thought, wow, that's a professional setup. And that's all due credit to this man. He gave us the look. I'm an idea guy. They have to rein me in a lot of times.
God.
Because I have all
I've
these
got
grandiose
lat
ideas.
workout muscles for
But
Rain and Barry.
Tom is the doer. He really is. He's kind of the engine that drives the show.
You're the glue that holds it all together.
He is. He's pretty cut and dry. He's sensible. He had kind of the blueprint laid out of what he wanted to do. Barry got his way a couple times.
I'm really looking forward to
I usually
mouse
beat people
pads
over the
and
head until I get my
cozies.
way.
Oh,
That's
a lot of people look at that, to be serious for a second on the mouse pads and the cozies there. Seriously, there is so many places you can go to get these things without spending much money.
There it is.
Right here,
Mainly
boom.
just
I mean,
Joe
Teespring.
Oh, wait a minute, t-shirt.
You
hot
can
item.
get, speaking of
Hot
which,
item.
teespring.com/notes and nerds shop or something like that, shop.notesandnerds.com, and you can get your very own tee just like this one.
Pre-worn?
No?
You said just like that one.
Just
so I
like-
think-
Just like this one.
Oh,
No,
like it.
This
Okay.
one.
Just making sure.
This one's mine. You cannot have it.
Hey,
So yeah, that's the gist.
Well, I look forward to next year because obviously you said you want to do 2 a year.
Wanna
And
do 2 a
I
year,
don't
that's
see you
the
guys
plan.
doing one in December. So obviously next year is the likely.
I hadn't thought about that. 2 a year. Maybe we'll meet up again in a month.
The original plan that we had was May. Don't mark that down yet. We're still in the final, well, not even beginning stages of it. This has got to end first.
Yeah.
We'll regroup. A lot of stuff happens in May with graduations and stuff that actually a vendor pointed out earlier. So we might regroup. Stay tuned.
We'll keep you guys up to date on what they're doing. Just
Yeah,
keep a look
and
for our
please look
calendar.
us up on Facebook. It's Fountain City Minicon. We've got a page there, just fresh because we're fresh. But look us up on Facebook.
We also have Instagram and Twitter.
We do, and
Find
so
all the
follow
links
us there.
below or above, depending on where you're watching this video at.
Yeah,
Right.
Facebook,
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 here,
YouTube.
right here. In this designated
But
area.
look us up, give us a like, keep your eyes peeled on future events. We do plan 2 a year, and they're going to be just like what we had here today. If you weren't able to attend,
Shame on you.
shame on you. You missed
It was
out.
free.
And we'll be free for the immediate time coming. It's a fun show. I've had a ball today. It already feels like a community family starting to grow, and we can only hope for bigger things in the future.
So thank you guys.
Thank you, man.
We'll look forward to being here again next year. Hopefully things will pan out. And is it safe to assume it'll probably be in the same location next year?
Don't know.
Don't know.
yet.
Depends on how they feel about it.
Yeah, if they don't want to kick us out. Honestly, at this point, I'm not sure I see a need yet to move, if at all. But yeah, options are always open.
But I'm sure they like the money for the space being used.
I think
Let me say we appreciate everything that they've done
Oh,
to
yeah.
make it so easy for
They've
us.
been very
Foundry
accommodating.
is a fantastic facility.
I'll even put a link for the Foundry
That'd be great.
on
Yes, please do.
Facebook on our
Please do.
description, because we really appreciate everything they're doing. As a vendor and a con goer myself, being here, I love places that aren't your typical convention center. I love these kind of locations where it has some already pre-baked in services that you don't have to leave for, and the coziness of the environment. Granted, I was in the Marine Corps, so I do have to watch my mouth. So, you know, that's the only downfall I have to say, but I'm a good boy and I can keep my mouth shut when I need to. All right, guys, so yes, links below or above, depending on where you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook. And like I said, I was not joking. Shop.nutsnerds.com to get your own Teespring shirt like this one, but not this one, because this one's mine. You get your own. We also have Patreon, so if you want to help support us, go to patreon.com/nutsnerds. You can give a little and, you know, try to give a lot back. We got multiple tiers to help support us for whatever you want, from $1 on up. And also, don't forget to go to some of our other sponsors we have listed in our description. So thank you very much, guys. Tune in next time. We have a lot of great content coming your way. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.